Never seen you play like this. This is like you're like a bottom of the league club.
Littlewoods, supporters of the FA Cup.
They can't afford to concede another one. They might do now. It's John Barnes. There it is. And the ball knocked away. Sinclair with a shot. Oh, a terrific goal.
Right. Beckham with the shot. Oh, it's a terrific goal.
Thomason's in the middle. And Thomason has scored.
The team. Oh, what a wonderful ball. And inside. A goal.
It's their first full season. Two giants of the English game going at it one-on-one for the biggest prize. The FA Cup final, Newcastle United versus Arsenal. We've followed Newcastle United's journey and Arsenal's this season. It is the Gunners that are double chasing. It is Newcastle United, despite a European campaign, that may be disappointed. But with great moments in which history was rewritten, Arsenal know could be one step towards a magnificent double. For Newcastle United, it could be their first trophy in nearly 3 decades. The big match is live here at Wembley today. Arsenal versus Newcastle United. The FA Cup final is exclusively live, and that is what both these sides will be hoping to lift this afternoon. Good afternoon here, welcome live from Wembley to the FA Cup final. It is Arsenal and Newcastle United in a thrilling match, and we're expecting a real amazing game. It is a hot afternoon, it really is here at Wembley today, so sunscreen and water will be valuable, perhaps not to the players on the pitch side. Trevor Venables is with me and we'll get all his views and opinions of the game which we're about to see this afternoon. But first and foremost, it's time for us to have a look back at perhaps some of the key moments and some of the great games that we have seen so far this season here on the FA Cup.
That's Rowan Walton. Can he get the ball in there? Thomason's waiting in intent. Headed away by Big Dave Watson. A staunch Evertonian is set to see his team right down at the bottom, and a header coming in and a goal! And it's Thomason who's got it, and Newcastle, with 14 minutes gone, are in the lead. It's going to be Bobby left foot and against the crossbar with Kieran completely helpless. Quarter of an hour just over to go. Everton still in this tie. They can't afford to concede another one. They might do now. It's John Barnes. There it is. 2-0, and surely Newcastle have going into the hat for the 4th round of the FA Cup. Lee again. Now Thomason in the area, and he goes down. It's a penalty. Referee Bodnam had no doubts. Bilic is furious, the Croat. And the penalty is given, and Rob Lee has a chance now to put Everton through, put Everton's misery complete, and it's 3-0 now. And Everton's misery is well and truly complete now. Which is 3 minutes to go. Here's Gillespie, could settle it now, and it's 4. And Everton's misery is complete, and Goodison Park is now of a mass exodus, apart from 2,500 travelling Toon Army.
Gets it back from Parler. Bergkamp. Right! It's taken just over 11 minutes for Arsenal to break the deadlock. It's Ian Wright.
Let's see. We're now into injury and stoppage time as that ball comes in again. And a header won by Potts. Good save. And in goes Lewis. And West Ham going to the lead. And it's the former Manchester City man, Steve Lomas. Dick's laying it in. And the ball knocked away. Sinclair with a shot. Oh, a terrific goal. Well, he scored one of the goals of the FA Cup of all time last season with that overhead kick.
Into McClare, there's surely an advantage to be played out formally back to Beckham. Now Beckham with a shot. Oh, it's a terrific goal. Well, he had a couple of sights early doors. Well, he hasn't missed this one. 35 minutes gone at Oakwell. And David Beckham has silenced his passionate South Yorkshire crowd, and Manchester United are favourites arguably to win the FA Cup and the Premiership, are in the lead. It really just shows how difficult it has been for Alex Ferguson's men still to be challenging at the top end of the Premiership in the quarterfinals of the European Cup, and a great save! It has to be decided tonight, remember. If it's level after 90, it's extra time. Level after that, penalties! Great save! A bully there that came in there, and then the shot back in, well repelled by the Great Dane. Barnard's cross. There's the header again, and how is that not 1-1?
Defensively, Newcastle unable to exploit that gap on that occasion. Here's Batty. Thomason's in the middle, and Thomason has scored to put Newcastle within 20 minutes of an FA Cup semi-final. Shondar Thomason, the substitute, has headed Newcastle in front. Now McClare. Irwin. Lovely tackle by Batty. McClare. Good advantage played by Graham Poll. Manchester United knocking on the door. Here is McClare. Deflected wide. Corner kick. This has to be better than his last one. It's gone short. Clegg. No one was in the box really on the end of it. Nicky Butt. It's got Irwin charging forwards. Dennis Irwin strikes Rob Lee, I think it was.
Just patted the ball down and did really well. So Stowe now starting to work a little bit better, more than he would have expected. And here's ball now down the other end. It's Steve Ball with a big chance for Wolves, and a great save by David Seaman. And now Arsenal got to go again with Bergkamp. Bergkamp again, little deflection, and Elka's there. Petit, oh what a wonderful ball, and onside! A goal! Arsenal take the lead with 69 minutes gone, and it's the 20-year-old Nicolas Anelka.
Well, Trevor, it's been a phenomenal season. We've covered some excellent games. So what do you think your chances are today that we'll see a top-class match? I think we got a real shout of it, I'm honest with you, Trev. I think one of the factors that's going to be very apparent in today's game will be how Newcastle United were able to get a grip of the midfield. I think Arsenal's midfield has been the best in the country this season, and they've been phenomenal and a joy to watch. It's how Newcastle can deal with that. It's how the likes of Batty and Lee can they compete with Petit and Vieira, and I think that's where this match will be won and lost. I think Newcastle United have got to be careful because you've got Anelka at speed that can break through. At the same time, Arsenal don't have Bergkamp. He's still injured, so there's every chance on that respect that it could be a great moment for Newcastle United to take advantage, because they've got their diamond in the sleeve, a really informed Alan Shearer. Well, as you can hear, the crowd have livened up, so we're getting ready to enjoy Abide With Me, a brilliant tradition that delighted to see. But that's all from us. The next voice you'll hear today will be your match commentator for this one. It will be Trevor Moore.
Good afternoon, everybody, from the commentary box. What an emotional occasion to play with me, sung there by Tony Hadley, the lead singer of Ballet. Now the teams emerge, and it's a great privilege here on ITV to be bringing the FA Cup back to you after a gap of 10 seasons. We're back, and with a great final, we hope, between Newcastle United and Arsenal, a team that are going for the double and looking to complete the first leg of that this afternoon. 80,000 people here in Wembley today to see this cup final. Great atmosphere, terrific entertainment, we hope. And before we give you the all-important lineups again, the national anthem. Let the Geordie and Cockney Risers be heard. Great final. Arsenal going for the double, of course. They've got to play Villa next Sunday to hopefully win the league championship, but the Premiership. But today it's all about trying to clinch the FA Cup for the first time since 1993. And our survivors from that side, of course: Adams, Seaman, Dixon. You name it, they're all there. The back four, that famous back four. Winterburn also a survivor too, and Ray Palmer too. But no Dennis Bergkamp, no Ian Wright. It's Anelka and Ray up front. Newcastle, they know they're going to have to give it the ball this afternoon. The only chance of any real success in European football for them. Given gets the nodding goal. Alan Shearer goes up front. And no Keith Gillespie. Interestingly, Warren Barton will play on the right hand side of midfield. Referee today comes from Dorset. That's Paul Durkin. And we're all set to go then in this 1998 FA Cup final. A terrific confrontation now between Arsene Wenger in his first football season at the club and Kenny Dalglish in his first football season at Newcastle. Not been good for them in terms of league position, Kenny Dalglish, but a real opportunity to save their season in terms of trying to win the FA Cup. Parler going forward as well and goes down, and Anelka with an early shot. Well taken by Gibbon. That'll give him a bit of confidence. Nicholas Anelka, of course, is the 20-year-old who came to prominence in that semi-final we showed you against Wolves, where he got the decisive goal in that game. But they were under the cost for a fair amount of time against Wolves, and that's something that Kenny Dalglish will have picked up during the week for Newcastle to try and exploit. Gaspaya, good challenge by Overmars, the Flying Dutchman. With no Bergkamp in the side and no Ian Wright in the side, the onus is on really Overmars to take the play by the scruff of the neck and show his experience going forward. And here's Anelka, fearless 20-year-old, and a good shot and just wide. Well, Arsenal in the first 5 minutes almost with two really good opportunities, and both falling to the same player here. Nicholas Anelka turned nicely there, and his right foot almost beating Shea Gibbon. All ends up there, and Arsenal almost ahead with inside the first 5 minutes. Could have easily had 2 goals in that time. And the team going for the double, making a very good intentions right on the word go here this afternoon. Free kick to Newcastle. And here's Parler, or Robert, but ball forward to catch by Robert from Batty. Now Shearer, good turn by Shearer, and a good save by David Seaman. So both goalkeepers inside the first 7 or 8 minutes.
have had a good touch of the ball and have had a save apiece. Given at one end and David Seaman at the other. Ray now into Anelka, and he goes down. Penalty, says Mr. Larkin. Arsenal get a penalty. Newcastle inevitably surround the referee and they feel they've been hard done by. Must say, looked a harsh decision from first glance. Let's see it again. Did he get any in the ball? Not for me, he didn't. That's a penalty. And Overmars has a responsibility to strike the first blow for the double chasers in this cup final. It's 1-0 for Arsenal. What a smashing penalty that was from Mark Overmars. And Arsenal go into the lead with just shy of 8 minutes gone. Here's the penalty again. Yes, Harry took him out. That's a penalty. And nothing now debatable neither about the penalty itself. Great penalty there by Overmars. Coolest man and hold the house in all of Wembley Stadium and smashed it in, and that right foot of his. Gibbon sent the wrong way, and with 8 minutes gone, Arsenal going to lead. Well, it's a real setback for Kenny Dalglish. I don't think that was in the plan whatsoever at the start, but inevitably on a sunny afternoon, a real cup final weather this. It's a beautiful sunny early summer's afternoon here. Remember, it's not the end of the season after this. Remember, the last game of the Premiership comes next Sunday afternoon. A lot of issues still to be decided at both ends of the table. Arsenal and Manchester United for the Premiership, and then you've got the battle at the bottom, of course, between Everton and Bolton Wanderers, of course. And Bolton have got a tricky little trip to Chelsea to try and overcome to them to stay up, and then Everton at home to Coventry City, who are all but safe. Here's Custodian now for Newcastle, who go to Blackburn on the last day of the season. Robert Lee, David Batty, Robert Lee again. Good ball, Pistone now in behind. Now Kasmire going in. He was certainly lurking with some intent there, the Georgian, and he couldn't be found. And here's Anelka to the Vieira. And Leggy Vieira now to his French colleague Petit. I'm sure them two will have plenty to say in the forthcoming World Cup, which you can see live on ITV in the summer of this year. We've got the British Grand Prix as well from Silverstone as well this summer. It's a great summer of top quality sport live on ITV for you. A quarter of an hour gone. Arsenal 1 up in this FA Cup final of 1998, and here's Petit to the Romford Pele, they call him, Ray Parlour, that's his nickname, and Anelka into the side netting. Some lovely move here from Arsenal, and the Romford Pele here, Ray Parlour involved in every moment, and there's his cross. And Anelka just misguided it, hit the net, but the side of the net, and a goal kick for Newcastle. The Geordie Toon Army, the Geordie Nation they call themselves as well. The Toon Army down there in force. Had to set off at something like 5:30 in the morning down from Tyneside. It's been such a long trip for them. And at the moment the trip isn't worthwhile for them because they're 1-0 down here in this FA Cup final, chasing their first trophy since 1969 when they won the Old Fairs Cup competition. The last FA Cup win, Newcastle, you've got to go back to the days of World Check in Melbourne in 1955. That's the last time, in fact, they've won a domestic major honour. As I said, they've won an important European prize as well in that time, 69. They reached the final here in 74, but lost to Liverpool, who went on a complete rampage in the second half of what really was a disappointing one-sided final that day. From Newcastle's point of view, Malcolm MacDonald never got a kick in that game. Emily Hughes and Tommy Smith saw to that. Pistone with 20 minutes gone. Barton. Looking for speed on the far side, but just too high for him, and it's going to be an Arsenal throw. Well, we're coming up to the halfway point of the first half here in this FA Cup final. So the 700 teams started out on this Wembley trail way back in August, and now whittled down to 2, and at the moment it's Arsenal in the lead. And now what's the referee giving here? Free kick, is it? Right on the edge. Oh, it's a yellow card for Palmer. He's giving it to Newcastle by the looks of it. Well, Ray Palmer has been collared there by the referee. Now let's see what happened. Well, yes, he did go in behind speed. Mr. Durkin definitely thought, or was in the opinion, that Palmer took the man rather than the ball, or took the man before the ball. I guess he couldn't really, under the letter of the law, do anything else but book him. But I do think in occasions such as these, you have a responsibility as a referee to try and keep 72 men on the field at any one time during the cup final. And I think referees would do well just to apply a bit of common sense, maybe in just the spirit of the law rather than the letter a little bit. Unless it's a last man thing or whatever. Let's see, Vieira. Stopped by Batty. Tenacious Yorkshire Terrier. Alan Shearer, an hometown boy, wanting to do well for his hometown. Signed from Blackburn, of course, where he won a league championship. Barton. Up towards Kitspire. Oh, everyone missed it, including Arsenal defenders. And in fact, Arsenal were going to get a throw anyway. So in the end, Dixon, quite rightly, in the end, decided to leave it. In fact, he's gone across to take it himself, the throwing that is. Petit. Dixon. Palmer. Dixon again. Arsene Wenger's side really, it's been a very good season for them. They had that bad defeat against Sheffield Wednesday. They laboured in the semi-final against Wolves, but they're not labouring here. If Anelka can get on the end of this, and he almost did, and he's had 3 good opportunities now, the Frenchman. That was a well-taken save there by Shea Given. It was an easy one for him, really. The header wasn't really... The header didn't come in with too much conviction from Anelka, but Given, he still worked Shea Given nonetheless. And here's Warren Barton with half an hour gone. Arsenal 1 ahead. Here's Warren Barton, formerly of Wimbledon, playing it in. Dixon with a comfortable header away. Palmer getting it forward. Overmars touching it back to Winterburn. And a remarkably good final so far. Keown. Let's see back again. And Keown once more. Vieira. Apart from that one save from Alan Shearer, David Seaman hasn't had a shot to save really that much this afternoon. Lee to Shearer. Newcastle getting their passing game going nicely now. And if Barton can get his head up, he's got Shearer in the middle. Speed coming to join him on the far post. Steady Goose gets Spire as an outlet, trying to get the shot in. Arsenal with 2 defenders back and almost made a mistake, but Mr. Reliable, the skipper Tony Adams, swept up and got it away. 10 minutes to half time. 1-0 to Arsenal. The European Cup final, of course, coming up as well in the next couple of weeks, live and exclusively on ITV. And that will be an occasion to remember. That's being played in the new Amsterdam Arena, the new home of course, Ajax Amsterdam. Warren Barton. Sadly, Manchester United are not there this time round. Warren Barton. Robert Lee. Barton again. Bastoni. Good cross. If Shearer can be found, might come to get Spire. Goes down. No penalty, says Mr. Durkin. And the Toon Army are not very pleased, as you can imagine. They felt it was a penalty. I have to admit, Bastoni went down a little easily, perhaps. It was in the bracket of Syndham given. And Newcastle just having a nice little spell of possession. And that's got the crowd buzzing a little bit there, or their fans at least buzzing. But Omar stopped him really well, and Winterburn too. And Arsenal so confident when they play out on the back. It's one of the great things about Wenger's management. He always has confidence to any Arsenal, to anybody at the club at Arsenal. Okay, the ball crossed from Nixon was well intended but out of play, but you can see the confidence oozing in that Arsenal side. And that's down to one man, Wenger, and his coaching staff. Pat Rice, of course, he's faithful. Oh, look at Anelka, he's onside now. Big chance for Anelka. Can he make it this time? Yes, he can. 2-0. He timed his run to perfection. He was onside by a country mile, and Nicholas Anelka, the hero in the semi-final, has made it 2-0. With 3 minutes to half-time. And Kenny Dalglish with it all to do now. And if the job wasn't tough enough, it's going to be tougher now. No doubt at all he was onside, no question at all about that. But the finish, when he got one-on-one with Shea Given here, was so unerring. Look at that. This is how to time the run to perfection, and he did just that, the 20-year-old. An old head on young shoulders, and my goodness, that was a finish that Alan Shearer at the other end would have been proud of. It's 2-0 to Arsenal with 2 minutes to half time in this FA Cup final. Now Newcastle had to show a bit of character. They've got about 90 seconds plus stoppage time to try and nick a goal back and try and make this interesting. Spires free on the far side here. His cross is cut out brilliantly by David Seaman. Parlour. What Arsenal mustn't do now is get into cruise control. That would be, as we all say though, 2-0 is a dangerous scoreline, so Arsenal have to keep their foot on the gas. Vieira. We're into time added on. We've played a minute. That's a foul, says Mr. Durkin. Arsenal have the free kick. Challenged there by Barton. Obstruction. Petit and Overmars, the two-man committee over this. Petit laying it in, looking towards Anelka. Away by Davidas. Still we play up. There's the half-time whistle. He's hit a good first half for Arsenal. Goes from Overmars from a penalty, which was rightly given, and then Anelka with an unerring finish 2 minutes before the break has given Arsenal a very good lead here at Wembley. Half-time in this FA Cup final of 1998, sponsored of course by Littlewood Pools. It's Arsenal 2, Newcastle 0.
What's all that about? You should have hit the target, mate. Bicycle kick 20 grand a week.
Littlewoods, supporters of the FA Cup.
Half-time in the Cup final, it is Arsenal 2, Newcastle United 0. Two great goals, a controversial penalty, Trevor, but looking back on it, you seem to think it was the correct decision. Yeah, he gets none of the ball for me in this situation. I mean, we'll have a look at it here. You can see it, he's got none of the ball. That's a penalty all day long for me on that occasion. And what about the spot kick itself? What I love about this is Overmars just picks his spot. Doesn't matter where the keeper's going to go. He's going to go nowhere near that. He absolutely smashes it. It's a class finish and a really, really good goal there. And the second goal came before half-time, and it might have knocked the stuffing out of Newcastle United, you think? Well, the thing to look this is, if you look at this touch from Anelka, once he gives it back to Anelka, he gets on his bike, and Anelka knows all he's got to do is just plant the ball over the top of the defender. Anelka will have the pace. He gets onto it. It's a great finish, one-on-one. Given does what he can, but yeah, I think Anelka's the favourite to that. That's a really class goal. Well, based on what we've seen in that first half, can you see Newcastle United coming back into the match? I think for whatever reason they've frozen out Keith Gillespie. I'd love to see him come on. I think he could make a difference on that wing. I think Shearer's been marked out of the game. They've got to find a way to bring him back on. And I think maybe they want to think about sort of Thomason or so forth. Do you get Barnes in that game? Has he got the experience and the touch to get involved? They've just got to make some changes. I think the side lacks balance, and injuries is a massive factor to that. But they've just got to get Alan Shearer in the game. If they could do that, they may be able to stage a comeback. I mean, Newcastle United very nearly came back against Man United, didn't they, a couple of weeks ago? So there'll be everything to go. Well, when we come back after the break, we'll have you the entire second half here at Wembley of this 1998 FA Cup final.
That's it. That's it. He's going to take. He's taking the. Oh yes, yes. Go on. Oh, corner.
Littlewoods, supporters of the FA Cup.
Welcome back to the big match, and welcome back to the commentary box as we get this second half underway. Newcastle kicking off, attacking the goal to the right, where the 2 goals went in the back of their net. Over Mars on 7 with a on 8 minutes with a penalty, and they'll go 43. And already Barton away on the far side, trying to get the cross in, but there's Mr. Dependable again, Tony Adams. Barton again with another cross. And this time, Keogh read that one, and Dixon is there to get it away. Incidentally, no changes from either side. So it's actually were, but I just wonder how long Newcastle will leave it before possibly bringing on Keith Gillespie, who can whip in some sensational balls in. And we've seen him do it a few times in Europe this season. So you never know if Keith Gillespie can get on the field with Kenny Dalglish. That might be a possibility. Barton, Bastoni. Again, they'll be looking for that ball into the area, and they do find it this time. And speed was up this time on the far post. But the former Leeds man was beaten to it again by Adams. And Arsenal's back 4 just enough for being broken down. There was a lot of talk whether Arsenal or Arsene Wenger was going to replace the back 4 swiftly. And those get faith with them, and as long as they're good enough, they're going to be still a mainstay of the Arsenal defence for at least a good 3 or 4 years, you'd think. Arsene Wenger does say no. I said many times this season that it's based on a good defence, but that gives the attacking players at Arsenal that license to go forward, knowing that the back 4's and David Seaman, of course, let's not leave him out the conversation. He's there to mop up anything. No foul there. Newcastle wanted a free kick. They're not going to get it. And it's key ball for Arsenal at the moment. And as each second ticks by for Newcastle, the more the opportunities decrease for them. And okay. Vieira, Maggie, midfield player. Good ball for Parler. I don't think he'd do better than he was shirt wearing Parler. And the cross coming in, it was a decent one from the Romford Pele. And in the end, it was needed to be headed away, and it will be a corner. And yes, Keith Gillespie is on. Dalglish is giving it 10 minutes. And he thinks that's enough. We need a little change in impetus. There's the corner coming in. Can that Arsenal get the third one? No, they can't. But Anoka might still. Petit might still. Palmer. Well, he's got to be careful, of course. He can't afford to ring anybody else down, otherwise he'll get a second yellow and he will be sent off. And that would be a real shame for the cup final if that was to be. Even though from a Newcastle perspective it would be great for them. It's Anoka coming away, but Davidas with a challenge. Now Gillespie. First touch, and he's knocks it to Kismire. On to Shearer. Shearer just can't get the service. Neither, to be fair, was Anoka this time, but Shea Garrett is there. Only a 6-footer from Donegal in Ireland. Spire, the Georgian. Now keep Gillespie. Now what can an Northern Irishman do? What can Spire giving him back? No, he's been harassed out of it. Petit, Dixon. Half an hour to go with this FA Cup final of 1998. Arsenal leading 2-0. Here's Ray Parlour. Free kick, Arsenal. Foul on Parlour. Now Gary Speed, a frustrated Gary Speed. And Newcastle are really and are chasing in afternoon this bar, but there's still half an hour left, and if they can get a couple of chances and take them, well, it might be a different ball game. Stuart Pearce. So many good leaders out there for Newcastle, and you just wonder, can somebody out there in a black and white shirt take the pull by the horns and actually show a little bit of fight and a little bit of leadership, perhaps take a bit of responsibility? David Baddick. Oh, Petit gracefully takes the ball off him. Junase Quash shown there by Emmanuel Petit, and now Bobamars. Good challenge again by the tenacious David Batty. Speed. Davidas. And again, David Batty. But they're going backwards and they need to come forwards. 25 to go at Wembley Stadium in the FA Cup final. Still 2-0. Petit. Now Ray. Good running there by Christopher Ray. Ball played in and knocked away once more. Petit. Vieira. Spire. Stoney. Paddy again. Robert Lee. 67 minutes gone. Newcastle on the attack. Gillespie. He just hasn't gone into the game, Keith Gillespie, has he really, since coming on 12 minutes ago. The back four of Arsenal and the midfield players have really dominated proceedings, really, and that could be where they may win the cup today. Anelka could make it out to it now. Anelka on the turn, and the shot was well charged down in the end on the Newcastle defence. Steve Howie there getting a block in, and an Arsenal throw. Petit, and again Vieira. Ray. Arsenal with that brilliant back five of theirs, but then you've got that cosmopolitan look to them in that attack. It might be that cosmopolitan look that's going to win them the cup this afternoon. As Keith Gillespie takes possession, finds Robert Lee, but again Vieira there, but Newcastle have it now with Alan Shearer. He's having to come backwards to come forwards to David Batty this time. Robert Lee. 20 minutes less than that to play now in the cup final. Good challenge there by Bassett, showing some leadership qualities, but Newcastle need the ball up the field. Now Alan Shearer just hasn't had the support he would have liked. I'm not even sure the formations when they were given to us at the start was going to suit Alan Shearer's style of play. He just hasn't had enough service. He's had the one shot in the 74 minutes we've been playing. It says a lot for Newcastle's tactics and the way they've gone about this game, really. And the Geordie Nation want to see a better fighting spirit. The Toon Army want to see a fight now. Will they see from Gillespie? No, they won't. But they do get a free kick, Newcastle. Or is it the other way around? I think it might be the other way around. Let's have a look. Oh, more foul by Winterburn. Yeah, it was Winterburn. It isn't, yeah, I got it right first time. It was a free kick to Newcastle. Well, Watson on for Pastoni. Kenny Dalglish having to go for it as that free kick is sent in. It's a disappointing one, really, from Newcastle's point of view. They just haven't been able to get the service to Shearer. Now they might have a chance here. Shearer got through now. Was he brought down? Not unfairly, said the referee. And here's Keogh.
Arsenal just 15 minutes away, or less than that now, plus injury time from completing the first leg of what they hope will be the double. They won it the opposite way around back in 1971, of course. They won the title at White Hart Lane, and 5 days later on a similar day like today, beat Liverpool after extra time. Newcastle force a corner. This is where they've got to strike now and make it interesting to last 12 minutes or so. And Gary Speed put one of those quality corners in. Oh, it's just one break. It might break for Watson. Will he have one? No. Will he have a go? David Batty, I was going to say he might hit one, but he's not been out for scoring goals. He's won a free kick though. Now then, is it within Stuart Pearce's territory to have a blast? We've been seeing Pearce blast them over the years. Could well be Alan Shearer though. It is Alan Shearer. Oh my word, that's a good free kick from Alan Shearer. If that had gone in, well, that would have been interesting, but despite the ferocity of the free kick, it's not one that's going to be the class goalkeeper like David Seaman. And that's a good ball now into Ray. Now can Ray tell him he wants a ball? He's got an anchor in the middle, and he can't be found. No, it's Kid Lesby away for Newcastle, but well, Alan Shearer has had 2 shots at goal, and they've been speculative to say the least, although the free kick was a good hit with some ferocity. You just wonder if it had been Stuart Pearce. As Anelka volleys it goalwards and volleys it wide, but I think the flag had gone up anyway for an offside decision against the 20-year-old Frenchman, who might make a late bid to get in Aim Jacquet's French squad. As Speed comes off, he's had a disappointing game. And Andres Anderson comes on, the Swede, for the remaining 8 minutes. 2 goals Newcastle need in that remaining time, plus injury time. And as each second ticks by here at Wembley, the chances of that become less increased. Parlour. Petit, Arsenal not relenting, not taking the foot off the accelerator. Yes, they haven't scored further goals, but their professionalism and game management, well, you've got to give Arsenal Wenger credit for that. And certainly they've had their tough moments in the league this season, Arsenal. There's no doubt about that. That defeat a few weeks ago to Sheffield Wednesday maybe walked them up a little bit. And they've gone on a very good run of form, really beating Wolves in a tough semi-final at Villa Park. And really it hasn't been too tough for them today against the Newcastle side with so much talent. They just haven't had the quality. And Ray Parlour getting a standing ovation from 80,000. He's put in a real shift there to Romford Pelé. He's had a super match. He's had a really super match, Ray Parlour. And David Platt will come on to replace him. Arsenal man through and through from Romford in Essex. Product of the Youth Academy in the days of George Graham. With 4 minutes to go, getting the greatest of standing ovations, he's had a super match. And I think in many people's eyes he could well be the man of the match. David Platt on for the remaining moments. Dixon. Adams. Dixon, Platt, Vieira, Lee, Watson. 2 minutes to go. And Newcastle's nick a consolation goal. Something for those Geordie fans to take a memory, maybe a 2 away from what's been a disappointing afternoon. Petit. Ray, Vieira, into Anelka, whose goal, along with Overmars, this looks like it's going to be the clincher. With the time added on at the end of the FA Cup final. Paul Decken, the referee, poised now. He's checked his watch once. And Newcastle just haven't done themselves justice on the day. Oh, look at that, Tony Adams and Martin Keown. Never to be beaten in the final whistle. Arsenal win the FA Cup for the first time in 5 years. Goals from Overmars on 8 minutes and Nicholson on 43. Settled it all on the day. Newcastle came here and just didn't do themselves justice with the talented squad of players they've got. But David Seaman hadn't had much to do, and Tony Adams being held up in the air by his teammates. They'll look to try and win the league championship next Sunday at Aston Villa at Villa Park. But for Newcastle, their season is over now by a trip to Blackburn next week. Just never got going at all today. And as for Arsenal, well, could this be the first leg of possibly a memorable double? Of course, they've got to beat Aston Villa next weekend, of course. Tony Adams receives the FA Cup, and Arsenal have completed the first leg of the double. 1998 FA Cup winners. And they've done it in really good style, in spectacular style, and have done it with just skill, desire, and a minimum of force. Restricted Newcastle to basically long-range efforts throughout the entire afternoon, and Arsenal celebrate the first leg and what they hope will be a double. But a full-time score here at Wembley Stadium on a terrific afternoon for all red sides of North Londoners. Arsenal 2, Newcastle 0, and we'll be back with reaction right after the break.
What's all that about? You should have hit the target, mate. Bicycle kick 20 grand a week.
Littlewoods, supporters of the FA Cup.
Well, it's one step on the double for Arsenal, a phenomenal result for them, and truth, Trevor, you haven't watched the game with us today, probably say it's fully deserved by Arsenal. Yeah, I thought they controlled the game really early, they created the best chances. I think Trev Moore signed it up correctly. I don't think Newcastle United fully showed up today, which is disappointing from a neutral perspective, but it happens at Wembley at times. I think Kenny Dalglish should be really disappointed with his side's performance. So let's hear from the FA Cup winning manager, Arsene Wenger. Well, very pleased that we won the game. We are the champions, and we have to now take this positive mindset to Villa Park next week. And we know we are a good side, and we think that we can definitely win the double. And we just have to believe in ourselves and play our football, and we will win the game. Well, it's all setting for a thrilling next weekend Premiership action. In terms of how this is looking from a double perspective, where do your thoughts and theories lie on this one? I don't know. I think it's Arsenal's to lose. It really is. They really do have it all to do. They're playing one of the most informed sides in the Premiership. I think we really have to credit at the moment how well Aston Villa are playing at the moment and what John Gregory has done with them. Man United, I would expect to beat Barnsley, and I think that'll put the pressure on Arsenal, but there could be a twist in the tail, but for my money, I think Arsenal should have enough to win it. Well, there we go. Arsenal have won what they believe is the first step of a double for them. FA Cup winners here today. It's a magnificent achievement to see, and I can tell you this, it's certainly better the second time around. Bye-bye.
he just doesn't seem to be able to control the ball, you know, and that's quite essential.
Never seen you play like this. This is like you're like a bottom of the league club.
Littlewoods, supporters of the FA Cup.
Thank you for watching here this match on Trevor Sports. If you've liked it, please don't be afraid to like, share and subscribe to the channel. And if you do fancy it, head on over to Ko-fi. The link is in the description. Buy me a coffee for all the hard work. Further than that, make sure you enjoy more games coming up.